Now we're going to look at question number 3 and question number 4. Question number 3 says researchers want to determine if listening to classical music can reduce math anxiety. They divide 100 students randomly into 2 groups and put them in identical rooms. So basically the conditions are pretty similar. Both groups completed a math test and survey rating their level of math anxiety. One group then listened to classical music for 10 minutes while the other group sat quietly. So right now I'm thinking this is an experiment. Both groups then took another math test, rated their level of math anxiety, and the researchers compared the results. Is this an observational study or an experiment? So if we think about this, what we want to think about is that this is a thing about listening to classical music and then sitting quietly. So like there's a control taking place, just sitting quietly, and then that experiment piece of listening to classical music. So I'm already going to cross out choice 1 and choice 2 because those are things about observational studies. Now, choice 3 says it's an experiment because one group is randomly assigned to listen to classical music while the other group is not. That's definitely correct. Thinking about that control aspect where there's really no constraints or something on the study. Number 4 says it's an experiment because the participants took a math test. That definitely isn't it. We're thinking about that classical music aspect and not using classical music. All right. Number 4 says, which graph represents the function y equals log base 1/2 x? Well, if you're like me and someone who might forget what the graph looks like, one thing I do is I can just type this into my calculator. So let's go to y equals, and we're going to type that equation into y1. So to get that log, we're going to hit math and scroll all the way up to log base. And then it just becomes a fill in the blank problem. So I fill in my 1/2, I fill in my x, and then I hit graph. But my graph looks a little off, so I'm going to hit zoom 6. And I want to choose something that looks like that. So I'm going to cross out choice 3 because that doesn't match my graph. And I'm going to cross out choice 4 because that doesn't match my graph. So now I have to think, is it choice 1 or choice 2? So I'm going to hit second graph to look at my table. And I'm going to look at this key point right here of 1/2, 0, and 1, 0. Well, if I go up to the number 1, I do hit 0. So it's got to be choice number 2. And that's how we complete questions number 3 and 4.